So the Packers preseason is now officially over. The Packers just finished their game versus the Chiefs, losing 17-10, making the Packers 1-2 this preseason. And clearly the record does not matter whatsoever. But I want to go over and talk about my biggest takeaways from this game. And now with it being the final preseason game, in the next week or so, we will be seeing, who the final 53 players are on this Packers 53-man roster. So starting off, I want to look at Jordan Love and his performance because that has clearly been the focal point this entire preseason. With the future uncertain after this year in Green Bay, depending on how long Rodgers decides to play, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, who knows? All eyes have been on Jordan Love. And I think in today's game, he was a little inconsistent. He had some nice times. He had some bad times. He went 16 for 26, 148 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception with a 61 rating. And I think that in this game to start off, they were definitely, the offense couldn't get anything going in the first few drives. Then there was one drive. It was a beautiful drive with a nice pass to Samori Toure, who had a really great night. We'll talk about that in a second. A nice pass to Amari Rodgers on third down. And then a nice pass to Samori Toure again, almost a touchdown. Ends up at the 1 yard line. And unfortunately, weren't able to get in there. But it was a very nice series from Jordan Love. He looked like he was like flinging the ball, slinging it. He didn't look too afraid. But then there were moments where he was missing guys. One ball hit off the defender's hands, could have been picked. Another one was a pick. And so I think I do think we've seen improvements from Jordan Love when it comes to looking at last season, but there's still definitely some areas for him to improve. So hopefully coming into this next season, he continues to develop and grow. And if the Packers ever do need to call on him, hopefully Love can, step up and continue to grow moving forward. But definitely some things to clean up, but he looks a lot more confident out there than he used to look. And there are moments in there where he has control and he can sling that ball. So okay night from Love, not amazing, a little bit inconsistent. But when we look here next at the running back situation, who's going to get that final third spot? Patrick Taylor, Tyler Goodson, Dexter Williams. Personally, I think it's going to be Tyler Goodson. If you guys saw that 24-yard touchdown run, it was incredible. I think that Goodson has shown every single preseason game that, besides A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, I do think he's the best running back on this Packers roster. So personally, I think he will get that third spot just because of his explosiveness when it comes to, coming out of the backfield, catching passes. The Packers have said that lots of these guys who, are the final spots at certain positions will need to be big special teams contributors. So we'll see if Goodson is able to finish off that spot. But I think he's just so talented there in the backfield. So we'll see come, next week which one of those guys is going to make this final roster if either of them do. Maybe the Packers keep 2 backs. Who knows? And then the leading receiver tonight was Samori Toure, who had 6 receptions for 83 yards. And wide receiver has been one of the biggest question marks this offseason when it comes to the rookies coming in here, the young players, who's going to finish off these final wide receiver spots. Samori Toure tonight had a very solid night, and he's really, staking his claim, saying, like, guys, you may want to keep me on this roster. And then we had Amari Rodgers, who was used a lot tonight, jet sweeps. I think he had 3 different carries, 3 rushes for 17 yards. The Packers using him in lots of different ways, in motions, in lots of different ways. And he also had 4 receptions for 39 yards. So I think to see Amari Rodgers playing well, that's definitely positive considering year one, he just didn't really do too much. And so I do feel like the Packers will probably utilize him some more. Coming into the season, we still do have Randall Cobb, so I think he will be the the main slot receiver. But Amari Rodgers, I think, will get some action. And then when we look at the rest of the receiver group, it's really a big question as to how many receivers are the Packers going to keep. Will it be 6? Will it be 7? Will it be 8? Will Juwann Winfree finish it off? Will it be Samori Toure? Will both of them make it? I honestly do not know who's going to get that final spot. Toure really showed tonight. Before tonight, I maybe would have said, Juwann Winfree makes it and Samori Toure doesn't. But after tonight, I am questioning it. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see, to say the least. And then moving to the defensive side of the ball, the leading tackler tonight on defense was Micah Abernathy with 6 total tackles, 4 solo tackles. And we've seen the injuries that have been plaguing this Packers safety group, which allowed Micah Abernathy to come in here last week, make some really nice plays, and sort of make a name for himself in the Packers' second preseason game. And so he's trying to finish off one of these final Packers roster spots. Then we have Jack Heflin, had 5 tackles. There was 1 tackle in there, maybe third or fourth quarter. No one blocked him, and he comes and just blows up the guy in the backfield. And we've really seen some massive steps forward for Heflin when you compare it to his first year here in Green Bay. So Heflin playing really well. So I do think the Packers have lots of great depth there on the defensive line. And then Quay Walker, played a little bit to start the game, had 5 total tackles, and you can just see how fast he is, how fast he rallies to the ball. He's got that speed, so I just can't wait for this regular season to start to be able to see Devondre Campbell and Quay Walker both out there. And, this entire preseason we've seen mostly backups. All these starters have been sitting. So in a few weeks to finally see this entire Packers roster put together out there, the starters will be exciting to see exactly what they have to offer, because I think there's no doubt all of us really believe that this Packers defense is going to be, a top 5, top 10 defense if they live up to, I think, the expectations that are on them, which I really think they can, just with all of the talent we have at every position group: defensive line, edge rusher, linebacker, safety, cornerback. This defense is really stacked. We did struggle a little bit tonight. There was that one pass. It was a touchdown pass for a lot of yards where I think Rico Gafford and Tariq Carpenter were sort of seemingly in the area of coverage. I don't know what happened there. One of them blew their roles. Maybe it was Tariq Carpenter. And then when it comes to special teams, tonight the Packers special teams unit did not play well whatsoever. There was return after return for a lot of yards. I don't know the exact number, but many returns out there. We were not stopping them where we needed to. And that has been the biggest question this offseason. One of them has been, can this Packers special teams unit clean up all the problems they had last year? We brought in Rich Bisaccia as the special teams coordinator. And so far in this preseason, the special teams just hasn't looked amazing. Hopefully, when the season starts, everything will be cleaned up so that we don't have any, big mistakes like we did in the final game of the playoffs last year versus the 49ers. Hopefully, all those mistakes will get cleaned up by the time the season starts, so that way everything is, working smoothly. And then after Jordan Love left the game, Danny Etling did come in here, went 10 for 13, 97 yards, 0 TDs, 0 interceptions, but had a 97.3 rating. And he honestly looks pretty solid out there. Of course, you are playing against, the second and third stringers, but he looks like a solid option. I'm guessing the Packers just keep 2 quarterbacks. It's probably going to be, Rodgers and Love, and then maybe Etling gets onto the practice squad. Will they keep a third QB? I don't know. I doubt it, but anything is possible. So those are all my thoughts on this preseason game. If you guys haven't subscribed and you want to see more Packers content, feel free to subscribe. Also, if you haven't checked out my Packers newsletter, I'll be sending something out there, an email out in the next few days, either a Packers Q&A, something like that. So if you want to get that in your inbox, feel free to click the link down below, enter your email, and then whenever I do write that and send that out, you'll get that delivered directly to your email inbox. But those are all the thoughts I had tonight. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, as always. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.